Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the Football Wizards. In this video, we will discuss the player selection from teams who will play twice in Gameweek 32. Let's look at some key points when using the free hit chip. Make a very strong playing 11 and pick those players who have a double game week. In order to get a strong playing 11, your bench should consist of 4 cheap enablers. Do keep an eye on the international matches for injury news, and also keep in mind that Watford, Wolves and Brighton might have a double game week, but immediately after that they have their FA Cup semi-final, so they might rest a few players. Now let's have a look at some players from teams having a double game week in Gameweek 32. Getting 3 players for your free hit team from Manchester City seems almost essential since they are playing against the 2 bottom of the league teams. Ederson is one of the very few Manchester City players who's nailed on to start both the double game week fixtures. Although he's on international duty, keepers don't need to be rested. Before getting injured, Laporte was one of the first names on the Manchester City team sheet. After 2 weeks break and enough time to recover, it seems Laporte will be fit enough to start in the Manchester City defense, but let's wait for the Guardiola press conference. With a hat-trick on international duty, Sterling is in red-hot form and should be one of the most transferred-in players this game week. The only concern is his playing time on international duty, coupled with relatively easy fixtures of Manchester City. Guardiola might choose to rest him for one of the matches. David Silva is another good option from the City midfield, and also with no international duty would be fully rested. Many managers are looking at Bernardo Silva as a budget option into the City midfield, but do remember that he is on international duty with Portugal, and like Sterling he might be rested. With Aguero not being called for international duty, he will be fully rested and I expect him to start both the games. Although all the City players are good options, but if I had to choose, I would choose between Ederson, Laporte, Sterling and Aguero and avoid both Bernardo and David Silva. Just like Manchester City, Chelsea have really decent fixtures in Gameweek 32 against Cardiff and Brighton, and although Chelsea haven't been in the best of form, I expect them to win these both. Chelsea keeper Kepa Arrizabalaga is a very good option because both the teams that they play against don't score a lot of goals. Chelsea is a team where I would consider a double up on the defense. Their defenders David Luiz and Azpilicueta both provide a decent attacking threat along with the potential for clean sheets. You can choose one of them depending on your budget. One player that is a must-have from this Chelsea team is Eden Hazard. He is their charisma and Chelsea depend on him to produce moments of magic. Gonzalo Higuain has been underwhelming during his time at Chelsea, and with Giroud in good form could be subject to rotation as well. Out of these Chelsea players, all get a green except Higuain who gets a yellow. Brighton is the only team to have 3 double game weeks this season, and in Gameweek 32 they have mixed fixtures against Southampton and Chelsea. As I discussed earlier, the goalkeepers are safe from rotation, so I expect Matt Ryan to start in all of their fixtures. Shane Duffy is a good option from the Brighton defense because he's an attacking threat from headers and valued at just 4.7 million. Their striker Glenn Murray has been in great form this season and is likely to be selected by many FPL managers due to him being a budget option. Although it seems highly unlikely that any of the FPL managers using their free hit will go for Brighton players, but if I had to choose between them, I would go for Matt Ryan and Shane Duffy and avoid Glenn Murray. Crystal Palace have mixed fixtures in Gameweek 32 as well, with the easy fixture being against Huddersfield and the difficult one being against Spurs. Many FPL managers are thinking about Gaita as a cheap enabler to invest money elsewhere, but to be honest with you, with Hennessy fit and available, I would think he is a risk. The Crystal Palace defenders will be in hot demand due to their low price. Our picks from their defense are Jeffrey Schlupp and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Out of these two, we are favouring Schlupp because he plays out of position in the midfield but is listed as a defender. Along with that, Schlupp has more attacking potential than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In midfield, a lot of managers would go for Milivojevic because of his penalty-taking role. Along with him, Townsend is also a good budget option. Michy Batshuayi has been in good form for the Eagles, and with Huddersfield up next, he could be a great pick. Before getting injured, even Wilf Zaha was in red-hot form, but my advice would be to stay away from him because of his roller coaster fitness and form. Just like Crystal Palace, Watford have one difficult fixture and one easy fixture against Manchester United and Fulham. With their FA Cup semi-final against the Wolves, I imagine none of their star players are safe from rotation. One of the players who is safe from rotation though is Ben Foster in goal. Along with that, Deulofeu and Deeney are in really good form, but the real question is, will they start both the games? So Foster gets a green and Deulofeu and Deeney get a yellow. Manchester United were in really good form before injuries kicked in and they lost 2 consecutive games to Arsenal and Wolves. Still they have a decent double game week, so let's have a look at their players. One of the first names on the United team sheet, De Gea could be a good pick, but with Chelsea and City having easier fixtures, maybe their keepers are better options. Lindelof is a good route into the United defence cause he's valued at just 5.1 million and nailed on to start. In the midfield, Paul Pogba is obviously a no-brainer as most of the FPL managers would already own him. Rashford and Lukaku are both good options, but at the moment both of them are flagged yellow due to their injury niggles. From reports, it seems that Rashford has a better chance of starting than Lukaku. So from United, De Gea and Lukaku get a yellow and all the others get a green. Spurs have a difficult fixture against Liverpool before they move into their new stadium against Crystal Palace. Out of their 3 midfielders, Son, Ellie and Eriksen, neither seems to be a good option at the moment because they are not in good form. One player which I would certainly like to pick from Spurs is obviously Harry Kane, who has been in great form since coming back from injury. So Harry Kane gets a green and all the other 3 get yellow. Wolves is the team whose players have been a blessing for all FPL managers. They have a double game week against Burnley and Manchester United. I would pick Willy Boly and Doherty out of their defence. The reason for picking Boly is that he's a centre half and has more chance to start both the games. Doherty might be rested for the semi-final. From midfield, Jota, who is in really good form, is a decent option, but again there is a problem about his rotation. Dendoncker, valued at 4.3 million, has been selected as a cheap enabler. I would also think Jimenez would be rested for one of the games due to his involvement in the international matches as well. So contrary to popular opinion, Doherty, Jota and Jimenez all get a yellow and Boly and Dendoncker get a green. In the coming days, I will upload another video with various free hit drafts and also preview of my own team for Gameweek 32. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel before leaving. Thanks for watching.